I'm Sean Wilson, your General Manager for Sandoval Community Association, and we're going to go through some information today to help the residents that are not able to attend the presentations or those that choose to view it again to actually see some things close up with the engineers. Now I'm going to go through some information rather quickly in the beginning on some of the financial things and the project scope, and I would encourage you to listen. If you have any questions, feel free to email me direct and contact me in the office, and we'll try to get you the focus so that you can hear some things from the engineer today. Now, first off, an undersized clubhouse means limited parking. It results in residents being turned away from major events, residents being unable to book events, and loss of rental income. Now, what are the comparisons? The comparisons, if you look at other clubhouses on other HOAs that are in comparable price scopes, Moody River has 7,000 square feet for 746 homes. Botanica Lakes has 7,225 square feet for 686 homes. Bridgetown at the Plantations has 12,700 square feet for 905 homes. Marina Bay has 12,000 square feet for 600 homes. And the apartment complex, which borders Sandoval, has 7,000 square feet for 186 homes. Sandoval is down at the bottom of the list with the 5,420 square feet for 1,425 total homes. Now, what is the timetable? The timetable is the residents will vote at a special meeting at the Cape Coral Yacht Club at the evening of January 29th, 2018. Absentee voting by proxy, it'll all be secret ballot. An invitation for competitive bids will start on or about November 2018. Groundbreaking for the project would be slated for February of 2019. And one of the questions, will existing programs be sidelined? Existing programs will be accommodated on a temporary basis required during construction. Anticipated grand opening would be April of 2020. Preconditions for groundbreaking: favorable vote from the residents on January 29, 2018. The construction bid price cannot exceed $1.9 million. The entire cost of the construction must be paid out of the telecommunications surplus. Now, the big one in capital letters: without any increase in your assessments. At least $1.3 million must have been accumulated in the telecommunications surplus before groundbreaking can begin. The construction project cannot trigger any borrowing or special assessments for you as the homeowner. Now, questions and answers. If we spend $1.9 million on this project, won't we deplete the telecommunications surplus? No. Once the $1.9 million is fully funded, the telecommunications surplus will continue to grow at a rate over $50,000 monthly until CenturyLink's contract ends in 2026. By then, we should have a $5 million surplus in the telecommunications fund, which can be avoided to avoid future assessments. What happens if the contractor's bids exceed the $1.9 million? Should this occur, the plan would reduce the scope of the project instead of increasing the cost. Won't a clubhouse mean that increased operating expenses? Well, yes, but only at $4,000 monthly, which is approximately 1% of your total monthly budget. Won't we incur some small, soft cost, even if we never break ground? Yes, there will be some professional architectural engineering surveying fees which must be incurred prior to inviting bids from construction contractors. Without detailed plans, contractors will not bid. How much do the new furnishings add to the $1.9 million project? The furnishings cannot exceed $100,000. The tiered multimedia center seating is included in that $1.9 million construction cost. Won't we need the $1.9 million for a rainy day problem which could crop up in the future? We already have $2.1 million in reserves, which is more than double the recommended funding. After the clubhouse is paid for out of the telecommunications surplus, we will continue to accumulate over $50,000 monthly in the surplus. Eventually, we should have about $5 million of surplus in addition to the well over $2 million in reserves. We have a very healthy reserve fund and been very fiscally prudent thus far. This is very important to know, the amount of money that we have, and I will talk about that continually. Will our HOA quarterly dues increase as a result of the clubhouse expansion? The answer to this is no, not by one dime. Won't an expanded clubhouse increase our HOA's property taxes? The answer again is no. Florida's HOAs do not pay property taxes on common area assets. How much will the expansion increase our annual contribution to reserves? The increase will be about $12,500. This figure has been confirmed by our reserve advisor. That accumulates on an annual basis. What's the hurry? Why not wait a couple years for the clubhouse? If the expansion is approved by January 29th, you're not going to break ground until February of 2019, and the actual new facility will not be ready for occupancy until April of 2020. Because construction costs will never go south, more delay means more cost. Let us lock in the construction costs now. Why do we need to go to the yacht club or fill out a proxy to vote? Because our bylaws, section 3.4, require that residents' decisions be made at a meeting, which residents can attend in person or by proxy. If I'm out of town, and a lot of you watching this probably are, or choose not to go to the yacht club, can I still vote by proxy and be counted as present for the 30% quorum requirement? The simple answer is yes, by all means. Can this vote be done electronically? No, our bylaws require the mailing of written ballots enclosed in envelopes. Is the lap pool part of the expansion? No, $250,000 was not cost effective for the lap pool to be added into this project. Okay, right now I'm going to get into introducing the engineer. Titch & Co. is the company that designed. Titch & Co. did 26 of these by himself, and his firm did over 50. And presenting for him today, who was also very much involved in the project, is Mr. Steve Darby of Darby Engineering.
Thank you, Sean. And again, my name is Steve Darby with Darby Engineering. Now I'm going to be presenting more of what the clubhouse and the site is going to look like. From what you see on the screen right now, you see an overall aerial. I'll be right now in the first couple of minutes, we'll be giving you the overall numbers and the terminology that I'll be using throughout the presentation. If you look on the screen right now, you'll see the red cursor. The area of the red cursor is the existing clubhouse that we presently are in right now. What we're proposing is in the black area that you see right now. Well, the first thing you're probably going to say is, well, that black area is interfering with the basketball courts, and it's also overlaying the volleyball courts. You're correct. The volleyball courts will be relocated, as you see the little red line, will be relocated to this area. The basketball courts will actually be reduced by 15 feet on one end, where you see on the red, and increased on the other end, which will alleviate and limit the amount of cost it will take us to reconstruct the basketball courts. As you'll notice from this aerial also, that the open field that we have will be undisturbed. One of the large items that we've had in the past here at Sandoval is the parking at the clubhouse. Presently, if you look at the red cursor, the parking is in this area right around here. We are expanding the parking from the existing 52 parking places, which I'll describe later, to an additional to a total of 104. And we'll be adding parking along the boulevard entry to the clubhouse here. A little closer picture of that is, here is the darkened area of the proposed footprint of the clubhouse. The playground is in this area. The basketball court change will be in this area. The new volleyball court relocation in this area. We're going to restructure the parking that's in the existing area presently now, and we'll be expanding over here next to the tennis courts. The accomplishment, as I stated earlier, is increasing from 52 spaces to 104, which is desperately needed. This is an overall aerial picture of the existing and the proposed clubhouse. From the red, you'll see in this area, this is, to get your bearing straight, this is the existing clubhouse that we are in presently now. There will be a breezeway developed between the existing and the proposed clubhouse expansion. And this whole entire area right in here will be the proposed improvements. A floor plan of the existing layout. Again, here is the existing clubhouse. This will be converted over to a gymnasium and also be converted over to a workout room. The breezeway across through here, and then all the proposed facilities within the new clubhouse expansion. A little bit closer up of the existing clubhouse expansion, we are proposing in this entire area, as you see around in this area, will be the proposed gym, much larger than what we have now. This will be what we call the movement room. We'll have a flex room, which will be defined later during design. We have the existing restrooms, which will be upgraded to somewhat. Examples of the movement room, as I'm just stated, here's a movement room from another clubhouse locally here in Southwest Florida, and we've done several from Sarasota all the way down to Collier County. Here's another example. Here's an example of a gym area. Another example of a gym area. Here's the front rendering again, just to get your knowledge of where we're sitting. We're proposing in the clubhouse, in the new clubhouse, a media center. That media center will be located, see with the red cursor that I've got there, where these chairs are. The media center will be elevated, and it'll be more of a multi-purpose room for presentations, for movies, from other items like that. There is right now proposed 104 seating of elevated seating within that media room with a stage. Here's an example of one of those media rooms in another clubhouse that we are reflecting on. You'll see the stage and the seating back behind it. You'll also see the elevated seating. This seating will also be able to be movable. It will be able to be broken down and moved over to a storage unit area, which I'll describe in a little bit, so that we'll be able to use this area also for the multi-purpose room in its entirety. We also have gone through the process when the media room has been removed. In large events, we have seating for at least 300 seats within the dining area. The area of storage will be right over here to the side. And so we'll be able to take the stages and have all the seating that we have here now will be stored in this area and be brought into the multi-purpose room when needed. Outdoor seating will also be used, is behind in the storage, will be used for any additional events that we may have out in the seating in the patio area. That will be overlaid with a enclosed area for the youth to be positioned back over in the corner near the playground area. Here's an example of an area that's out in the back patio. As you can see with the red cursor, you can see a pass-through a catering kitchen. I will get to that a little bit later, but we'll have a catering kitchen to be able to provide certain items coming out from the kitchen out to the area of the patio. Example of a vaulted ceiling. This is what we've got proposed in there now, to have a vaulted ceiling. I don't know whether we'll have beams or not, but that will be in the final design when we get to that portion of it. Another example of a ceiling with some vaulted ceilings and the wood above it. The fence that you see here along the back will be an option that will determine between the pool, whether we'll have it or have it freely open to the pool, has not been determined at this point and will be during the final design. During large events, we have a seating configuration, and that configuration is up to 624 is what we've got here right now in the present designs. We're over 600 for large event meetings. Typically we have those large event meetings 2 or 3 times a year. As I stated earlier, between the existing clubhouse and the proposed clubhouse expansion, we'll have a breezeway. That breezeway will cover off in between, and it'll be open up to the weather, but it'll have an enclosed roof over top of it. In front of that, over in the driveway area, we have what they call a porte-cochere. That is an area that you have drop off during rainy weather or nice sunny weather or something like that, that you don't want to be having an event at night or in the evening, that you can actually park your car, let people out, and then continue on to the parking space. Within that breezeway, we'll have a gated situation, so people will not be able to go through the breezeway directly into the pool without your residential card. That will actually go through, and it'll be similar to a gate like this, may not be. It all depends on the final design on what we choose. Here's another example of a breezeway. This is a common occurrence in most of the clubhouses that we attended. Here's a gate towards the back of the breezeway before you go into the pool area. Another example. The layout of the clubhouse is described in an area that will have a lobby or a waiting room. We'll have all the proposed offices that are currently in the existing clubhouse will be relocated to this area here. There will be a kitchen that will be for catering. There will be additional restrooms. There will be an area for the youth. There will be a mechanical room. We are proposing to have a library. Storage is to be able to take storage from our existing facilities off-site and bring them on here. This storage will actually be 2 stories. And then we'll have the large multi-purpose room with the option of the media room internally of that. Examples of the reception area that we've seen in other facilities are similar to this, that we will model ours after, as I've stated earlier. Here's one. And here's another example. Everything will be secured, and the only way of entering during the evening after hours will be through your resident card. But this will be a similar entrance to what we have in almost all the communities that we've reviewed. Also included, like I said, was a catering kitchen. That catering kitchen will provide refreshments and other items during the day, and will be able to, for larger events, be able to cater anything that we actually bring in from an outside catering service. Here's an example of what we're looking at as far as doubling up kitchens, space with dishwashers, microwaves, refrigerators, and items like that. As we stated before, the premium is space that we have to put items on, be able to bring things in, place them down, and then transport them back out into the multi-purpose room. We have a library and youth center. That library and youth center is down here towards the bottom of the picture, as you can see, with a youth center right next to it. The library is intended to presently right now have a fireplace on one side of it. That fireplace could be on the side as it's showing now. We've even talked about having a fireplace in the center with seating around that fireplace. These are some examples of some of the areas that is used as far as libraries and casual areas in other clubhouses. The youth center is something that we've looked at very closely, and we still think of expanding a little bit on that youth center area that we've got now. But these are some examples of youth centers that we found in the other clubhouses that we've observed during the process. Some questions and answers that we've been asked for. Where does the $1 million of construction cost come from, and how was it derived? Based on a visit to the clubhouses of compatible HOAs, we've been told by architects and everyone that we like to have our wish list. When the price came back from well over $2 million, we were asked the architect to prune back the design that we originally had put together. The project results is what we've shown. The architect has a confidence that we can build the clubhouse that we're looking at for $1.9 million. Why should I vote for the expansion if seldom use the clubhouse? The clubhouse, as I just showed, is bound to have a positive impact on the home values and sales. It is true that some buyers avoid communities loaded with amenities, but Sandoval already loaded with amenities, and prospective buyers who look at Sandoval want amenities, or they won't be looking here. Unfortunately, our clubhouse does not compare favorably with other communities in the area. Will the playground shade be part of the expansion? Yes, it will be the first to be completed. What else is included in the children and young families? Covered patio play and youth learning center, the basketball and volleyball courts will be preserved. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Steve, for giving a lot of information. Hopefully the residents see what we've intended to do is really put it out so that you have the opportunity to view things. We've been putting out the modules. The modules, each one of them goes into allow to explain before you even see the presentation. And we thank the engineering department and Steve for all they've done. A few important things to note. Obviously, in the beginning of this project, we talked about there is no assessment for you to pay for this. This is something that we're able to pay out of the CenturyLink surplus. And the other thing to note is we have a basic design. There's going to be a lot of things along the way that resident input is going to be key to determining. When you talk about things like the library, there's multiple things that can go in there, the youth center, things like that. So we look forward to the residents having the opportunity to voice their opinions, and we thank you for having the opportunity to view our presentation. Thank you.